anyway.
I'll give you
The labs are good, but they need equipment.
All right, we're past 7 o'clock. I need a motion to close this workshop and we'll continue next month.
Make a motion, we close the workshop.
Okay,
second
motion,
it.
motion made by Marvin, seconded by Sandy, to close the budget workshop. All those in favor? All four, none opposed.
And they're gonna be like, man.
All right, anybody need to go to the bathroom or anything like that? And I'm gonna call. It's 7:05 and we're gonna call the regular meeting to order at this time. We do have a quorum. At this time, I'd like to ask Sandy, would you say the blessing?
The prayer, okay. Heavenly Father, we praise your holy name. We thank you so much for all of your many blessings. We thank you most of all for Jesus Christ who gave his life for us to have salvation. And the Lord, we just pray for our community. We pray for our school district. We pray for all the leaders and teachers and students. We just ask your special hand on them. And please give us wisdom tonight to make all the right decisions that we need to make. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. At this time, we'll do pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Somebody.
Our Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas. One. You did get it. We had, no, I'm got it. 1 second. We got one
We
minute.
need to get it up on the wall.
Yeah.
I have it here.
Donna, we'll make a deal and put it on the door, big when we see it.
No, we didn't have to do that in grade school.
So we're not going.
Public forum.
I have it.
No, ma'am. All right, at this time, we'll move on to consent agenda. There was no public forum. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the agenda.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion made by Joe, seconded by Barbara. We accept the consent agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? 7-4, none opposed. Reports. Amy's not here.
He's on vacation.
Okay,
High school report.
a high school report. Mr. Cates?
Yes, and I believe y'all have a copy of it. At the top of that board report is enrollment projected, unless something drastic changes, as we're talking about is our bigger classes in that 9th and 10th grade. But our 137 is projected enrollment. Our ag department, Mr. Dillard and Mr. Lester, both tagged in everything they needed to that Saturday. They're out there, y'all went to the all school reunion. Mike and they were out there, they're getting everything taken care of for the as well. We did have 3 show up at the STAR retest in June. We should get those results in August as well. We do have, as y'all are aware, we have many new hires that has been selected. This is the report that Mike prepared before we went on his vacation. So we have our 3 paraprofessionals. In addition to that, the new high school secretary addition was listed here. We do have our STAR score comparisons from the previous year and the current. And there is a little bit of a difference on the writing. It says that at the bottom that writing was combined with reading for 7th grade. So they didn't take 2 separate reading and writing tests. So that's why those scores are not applicable in 2022. And since we do have some 8th grade students taking algebra, those are included in the Algebra 1 EOC scores that you see at the top.
On the social studies, eighth grade social studies
Yes.
for this year. I think that should be +30 and +3.
Yes,
So
yes,
instead
it
of
should be a
-3.
-3. Yes, that,
Yeah.
that is
Okay.
that's something I didn't catch. Yes. Yes.
And we don't, the state doesn't have its averages out yet, how many passed
No,
for the state. I
August
looked
the
at that, couldn't
15th,
find
we
it.
should have our accountability ratings, and we should have everything state.
I just like to know what the state did statewide, you know, if our percentages are higher or lower.
Yes, and they
So-
said, yes, in August, they should have all of those things
Okay.
for state efforts.
All right. We'll move on to dance. You want the athletic?
Would you say it again, Terry?
Athletic?
Jacob was gonna update
Oh,
that on the boys' side.
So we, I talked to you guys last time in June, we were doing our 6-on-6 stuff on Tuesdays. And so we finished that league here at Savoy, and we played in one tournament in Union Hill. And it was real good. I mean, it was good for our kids, for just to go out there and compete. It started 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago tomorrow, we started our basketball league. And so that's every Tuesday in July. We go over to Trenton and we play 2 games every Tuesday. And same thing, it's just an opportunity for our kids to go compete, play together, have some camaraderie. And so that's been really good for us. And then the girls, same thing. They've had some summer league volleyball games already. I believe they've had 2 already. And then tomorrow they'll start some basketball workouts. So our kids, they've been really busy this summer, and it'll continue to be that way. Our coaches will be going coaching, our coaching clinic Wednesday, and we'll be there until pretty much next. Camp. That'll be, all of our high school kids will, get to kind of put on those camps for the younger kids. A good opportunity for those guys to interact with the young kids and do all those things. As far as new coaches, all the new coaches that are in town as of this week, which we had our last 2 moved in on the town road. So. And then volleyball. First game, so you can see it's just. Yeah. Yes.
That turnout, I don't know, the boys basketball, how many do you participate in that?
It fluctuated. The first week we had like 10. Last week, I think we had 15.
Okay, so it's a good,
But it's been.
good. I know the volleyball, yeah, I got to go see that, so that's a good turnout, so.
Joe, you got anything you think that's good for Joe?
Hot out there.
Thinking this will be, I guess, for Joe and Jance, but are we, the stuff that's on the east side of the field house down there, is anybody got, or, okay?
Yeah, so we're actually, I'm gonna get that out.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I know he said he was gonna try to have it done before school, which I've got some time still. Just curious.
So we're full blown on the pumping situation down there. and-
Everything's good, brand new. Except for some of the old pipe. 2 brand new pumps, new lid, new guide rails, new control panel. All that going.
How long is that going to last?
I hope another 20 years.
20 years?
Like the last one.
Okay, just curious.
Replace. Yeah.
I think so, what I kind of thought. Or maybe something we talked about. Those reports, considering possible action to adopt TASB local.
Does somebody have a mic by the, or a phone by the mic on that big table there? Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, all right, we need to move the phone. Can you hear us now?
A little better. Are we good or do I need to come in there?
We can hear you good.
Okay, that sounds better now. I'm guessing, did y'all ask for the superintendent report?
Not yet. We're gonna do that after a while. Right now, we're gonna consider the TASB local update 119.
Yes, we have, there's no changes to it, so we want,
We want to adopt it.
yes, sir.
Make a motion to adopt TASB local update 119 as presented.
Second. Motion made by Barbara, seconded by Joe to accept TASB local update 119 as presented. Any further questions on that? Any questions as far as the update goes? All those in favor? 7-4, none opposed. Considering possible action to approve elementary handbook.
I have some questions about it.
Okay,
I'm glad the first part about the AB Academic Award, I'm glad that we're doing it that way. That looks good. That looks like a change, but pre-kindergarten, before, we haven't held them back if the parents requested it. Why do we feel that it's necessary, or why are we adding it now?
that's you, Jance.
Still didn't hear me?
Yes, ma'am. You were asking about pre-K holding kids back?
That second paragraph, a parent may request in writing that the student repeat or include if applicable, and so pre-kindergarten or kindergarten or grades 1, 2, or 3.
Well,
That paragraph.
my son is in that boat. He is, and the reason we did it is because his birthday, he was going to start second grade as a 6-year-old. That's not fair to him. And I think every parent deserves that right. And I think every child deserves that right. You're going to put a 6-year-old with kids that are turning 9, to me, it sets them up for failure in reading, in math, socially, any way you put it.
Well, my grandson's birthday is August 30th. And he has been with all those older kids all that time. And we were told when we enrolled him in pre-K that they did not hold back in pre-K. So, but I just was really, I'm not against it, but I'm just asking if, why we were changing it.
Well, I think we have had other people ask about it before, and we just didn't do anything about it because it does hurt them, not just in academics, but it hurts them in athletics and other stuff. Let's put it this way, if it was me, I would fight for my son to be held back.
Well,
Probably wouldn't do it
yeah.
for my daughter because girls mature quicker.
you're talking to somebody that's been in school for 37
So,
years, you know, so
that's
I know
why
all
I'm- that's
I know
why
all
I'm-
that.
I can
But-
speak on it a little bit. I was that kid. I started school in New Mexico, so I started my senior year as 16-year-old. I should have been in Jeff's class. And as a matter of fact, 3 of the guys in the class were Mike, Johnny, and Chris, and Casey were my age.
Yeah.
And so as you get into high school, it didn't matter quite as much. But, and I made good grades in elementary and stuff, but I was very immature, especially in those that first, second, third grade year. I mean, there's a big difference. You know, I started first grade as a 5-year-old. It turned 6. So
That's
it-
exactly how my son is. And
yeah,
it's,
and my mom said that she wished that, you know, but we lived out in the middle of nowhere and there was no social, other kids around and, you know, I was begging to go to school, so
I think it's an
I think
individual
it's a good deal to start.
decision for every parent, really and truly, but that wasn't given to us. If we enrolled him in pre-K, he would have to go to kindergarten, and he'll be going into high school at 13 years old. Now, we're not gonna hold him back now. He's passing star, so, you know, forget that.
Well, and
but
it
it's a good
levels
deal.
out once you get into high school a little bit better. Maybe athletics would help you because every year for a boy you mature, but it's a first, second, like in kindergarten too. I mean, there's a lot of difference in it, you know, and a 5-year-old or 4, I started kindergarten as a 4-year-old turned 5, you know, and the rest of them are 5, maybe some of them going to be 6. There's a big maturity difference, and I think it's better to start them later than early
But
for most kids, especially boys.
on the second page, I don't think it's a change. It wasn't highlighted like it was, but it's about failure to perform satisfactorily on STAR reading or math. And so I know, you know, we have to do accelerated instruction for those students. But what I'm asking about is, you know, the state has approaches, meeting expectations, and then mastery. And so meeting expectations, definitely they met the grade level. But those that are approaching really didn't meet the grade level. So my question is, are we giving those kids that are on the approaching level that really aren't counted against us as failing? Are we giving them some intervention too before they go to the next grade?
are you asking me that, Ms. Petrie?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we have targeted intervention for all kids. You know, that they start testing young, what at 9 years old, all the way through their junior year. We have the UIL academic cardinal time built in. I can't remember what Mr. Henderson calls it at the junior high, but there's targeted intervention across the district for all age levels.
I just don't think that's always been done in the past. If they were approaching, they
Well,
were,
approaches doesn't mean that means
you're not on grade level, you're approaching.
you're approaching grade level and you
But-
need a little, like, yes, ma'am, you're
Yeah.
exactly right. You need a little extra
I
help.
just think those kids need a little bump too sometimes. I mean, you know, and I just.
No,
hate for
they
them
don't,
not
they
to
don't need
get
a
it.
little, they need
Okay.
targeted intervention, not a little. They need
Okay.
specific instruction to meet their needs, and that's what we're gonna do.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. That's it.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to accept the elementary high school handbook as presented.
Separate, elementary only.
Oh, elementary only.
Motion made by Jeff, seconded by Brian to accept the elementary as presented handbook. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? 7-4, none opposed. The next one is considering possible action to approve high school handbook changes, updates. Got any questions? I hear a motion.
I make a motion to approve the high school handbook as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Barbara, seconded by Marvin to accept the high school handbook changes and updates as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor? 7-4, none opposed. Considering possible action to set a date to adopt tax rate and budget. Okay. Date.
She's gonna do hearings too.
It should be that last week of August, right?
Not to adopt it. I need it at the last possible.
What about the 29th? It's last Monday. Hmm?
It works for me.
Well, I'll make a motion that we adopt August 29th as the date to adopt the tax rate and the budget. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
Okay, motion made by me, seconded by Barbara to adopt tax rate and budget on August 29th at 7 p.m.
And Terry, we'll have to get back at some point and have a budget hearing for the public.
Yeah.
But I've got to meet with the appraisal district first and get everything,
Okay, we
Find
can
out.
do that.
and I'll let you know, and then y'all can decide when to.
We do that the week before that.
We have to publish it 10 days prior to the meeting, so we have to work it with the
The 15th.
paper.
It had to be done right after our meeting up in the field then, wouldn't
Yeah, I'll get all the dates lined out and get back with you.
it? Okay. You get all that? Barbara? Yeah. Okay, any other questions? All those in favor? 7-4, none opposed. Okay, consider possible action to approve pending Central Appraisal District proposed budget for 2023. Anybody want to start besides me griping about it, but
Did we check with somebody to say there's no protest, other than the individual protest, but you know what, all the entities were trying to do last year? You know, that we didn't know if that was going on this year. Somebody was supposed to check with other superintendents or something.
did you find out about that, Jan?
Nobody said they're protesting anything, just going with it.
Okay.
But it didn't go up as much this
I
time.
mean, no, it did not. And the thing is that I like one thing that he said that he.
Make a motion to approve the Phantom County Central Appraisal District proposed budget for 2023.
Action to approve calendar options for 226.
James, come on, we're gonna talk about this. Salaries, but everybody's tied to a calendar that has a number of days that we work. So the 12-month employees, we have to work 226 days. So last month I wasn't at the meeting, but y'all had approved that the office could be open Monday through Thursday. So that's 32-hour work week. It was not. during the summer. So that changes the calendar. If the intent was to be off on Fridays, you don't have to work 10-hour days like we've done in the past, then the board needs to approve that the employees get paid for those days, because we're tied to days. And then also, there's more days off in the school year now with this new calendar. So it's shortened. Used to, there was like 236 days, so we could take 2 weeks off in the summer. Well, now there's not that many days because we backed up when school starts, and we've taken more days
within the school year off. There's extra days. Like there's 2 in October, there's one at Thanksgiving, and then the president and Martin Luther, we used to have those as work days. So we're getting an extra 5 days off in the school year. So that takes kind of away from the summer. Is that making sense? I'm trying to make it make sense because
This is extremely important that Jance wants to hear this and he cannot hear a thing.
is there
It's a
somewhere I
phone or
can
he wants them
stand
off.
or
Yeah, is he deaf?
everything's off the,
Maybe it's my
you're
kids.
taking all the phones off the table.
Why don't you just come in here and stand over at the door and hear?
6 feet away.
I mean, he can come
Solve
back.
that problem really
I
quick.
can hear now.
You hear now? So basically what I did is I worked up 3 options and that first calendar, there's no page numbers on it anymore. So that first one is, let's see, calendar A, that gives all the Fridays off where you're working 32 hours a week and there would be no summer vacation in this calendar. So there's, if you wanted to still give a vacation, you would have to, they would be paid vacation days.
Well, hold up here just a second, so I understand this correct. So on the first one, then we'll work through them here.
Mhm.
But if you're saying if you still wanted to give a vacation, is that extra days that we would be given, or is that still the same as what it's been before? Or-
See, let me read this because I had it all typed up. I hadn't looked at them because I've been so busy today. Okay, so calendar A, this calendar gives all summer Fridays off with a 32-hour work week. 3, there would be no summer vacation days on this calendar. In short, it is short 6 days. So this one's short 6 days. So you would have to approve to give us 6 days paid to get us to 226. So I would have to fill in 6 days that we're being paid where there's not days in here now for it to get us to 226. So basically, we're getting all the Fridays off and we're not having to make it up, but we get no vacation on this calendar.
I don't like that one.
Okay, so calendar B.
Let me ask another question real quick, so we know how many employees are we talking about that this affects?
There's what, 14 now that are 12-month employees?
Okay.
Well, no, we don't count maintenance because maintenance gets an automatic shutdown for the July 4th and the week after. And they like it. They don't really want to change that.
So roughly 10 people,
So minus the 5.
of 9 people.
There's 9 people.
Yeah, mainly admin.
The
Yeah,
new ones we added are Jacob and
Yeah.
Coach Bates.
Bates, yeah,
Okay,
okay.
yeah. So calendar B, that meets the 226 days, but that's working the 4 10-hour days like we've done in the past. And then if you, let's see, did I put 226 days? There would be 4 days vacation, so it's built in. They would still get, with the July 4th week, they would still get 5 days off. But they could use those 4 days somewhere else, if they wanted to. They would have 4 vacation days for that calendar. But you can do as presented with option B, or you could do the 10 days that they had been getting off by granting the 10 total days instead of 6 for vacation,
That's the one I
with
like.
6 paid vacation days. But that's working the 40-hour, like Monday through Thursday, working 40 hours. And then that last calendar, that's like everything. Fridays off, 2 weeks vacation, working 32-hour work week, but they're only working 212 days. So basically, you're having to grant 4 paid vacation days and 6 paid Fridays in that calendar, or 8 paid vacation days if you want them to have a 2-week vacation. I know it's complex. I've explained it to I don't know how many people, but I got to have a calendar that says 226 days. So you have to decide if you're okay with them working the 8-hour days, or if you want them to work 10-hour days. And if you want, how many vacation days you want them to have for 8.
I think they need 10 days vacation.
Well, yes, but if they're off on Fridays, then they don't need 10, they
Right.
need 8. Because Fridays are already off and paid if you do it that way. So we would need
Calendar B.
Calendar B in the second approval, the second bulletin.
Yes, calendar B is working calendar B is working 10-hour days.
Well, let me ask this, Denise, as the business manager, not the employee here, which is obviously you've got a deeper understanding of this than we do. I'm sure Jance and you.
We talked about it.
What do you suggest?
I feel like the superintendent should make the call on that. I'm just needing y'all's approval to have a 226-day calendar, whether it be working the 8-hour days, the 10-hour days, or 5 to 4 vacation
Okay,
days. 8
well, let me
vacation.
ask another way then. So I understand this correctly, and I'm not voting on something I don't understand.
Right, it
Okay,
is
so
complicated.
A, B, and C, is there's 3 choices,
Well,
right?
there's actually 4, because B has option A and option B.
B
Okay,
one and B two.
Yeah,
how many extra paid days off are we giving employees that we're just all of a sudden throwing in on A?
on A, 6 extra days.
Okay,
But there's no vacation in that one. It's pure, all are Fridays. Plus, we get 5 extra days in the school year. So that kind of.
So that kind of,
replaces
that's a.
So in other words, the days, if you're counting those Fridays as their vacation days more or
Because
less.
that's
Okay.
not fair. They can't take vacation with their
Can't take them
family in the
with- okay.
summer.
the- Right.
so, all right, I understand that.
Okay,
Go
So
to
I
the
say
next.
no.
They probably wouldn't like that, I'm assuming, I wouldn't.
Right, right.
Marvin, the 5 extra days, and Denise, correct me, the 5 extra days in the school year are just built into the calendar, which is already adopted. So those are,
Right,
yes,
right. Yes,
those
Okay.
are already there.
But they can't take a week off with their family paid.
right, right.
Okay, go to B.
Okay, so B, the first option is, let's see, it's got the 226 days, but that's working 10-hour days. And then it's got a week vacation.
So 10-hour days and 5 days vacation. 10-hour days, 5 days, 4 by 10.
I guess my question, maybe this is a better way. How many extra days are we giving on top of what normally they had last year? And this?
Well, with,
Because if I'm understanding, and maybe I'm not understanding this correct, but the way you're saying this is all of a sudden we're gonna be giving some extra paid days off.
well,
Is that
okay,
right or no?
we're still 226. Our salaries are the same. We're not making any more money. It's just that the calendar says 212. That's what we're physically working. So to not take away from the 226, y'all have to say, we're okay with you only working 212, but we're paying you for 226. Does that make more sense?
For everybody else.
212,
Everybody else got that.
That's 14 days, that's 14 days difference, right? That we're paying.
It's basically, I mean, in all actuality, like an 11-month employee works 204, so we would only be working physically 8 days more than your 11-month employee.
When theoretically usually it'd be 20 to
More or less
25
a
days.
2-week break.
Yeah. That we're paying for that though. I mean, that normally you would be.
Well, I mean, you're
or you
not-
were in the past.
There's no extra money involved.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's the
We're
same.
getting the
You get paid the
benefit,
same, but you are getting
But
off
we're
and having to
getting-
work,
yes,
right?
Yeah, yeah. So it just depends on what you want us to have. Do you want us to have 2 weeks and Fridays off and not work 10-hour days, or work 10-hour days and have 2 weeks? And
Do the employees want to work 10-hour days? I mean, I work 10-hour days to be off on.
I mean, I
Friday.
still do. It's not gonna change for me. I don't care what
That's
I'll
the
do. I
problem,
just have
Is
to,
that we approve, they need to work 10-hour days to get their time in.
get their time in, yes.
I have to work 10-hour days to get Friday
Well,
off.
when I worked, I was on a 226 contract and I guess we just worked 9 hours. We didn't work 10. But they did give us Fridays off then. So we had to come in at 7:30 and go to 3:30. 5 o'clock, and you could only have 30 minutes for lunch. So I don't know.
You can call all around and schools are different. There's some working 9 hours, there's some working 10. There's some sticking with the Monday through Friday because they feel like productivity goes down when you work past 8 hours. So everybody's doing it different. The closest one I could find, Bell's, theirs looks more like, well, they only get 1 week off. They get the July, she has hers tied to the July 4th week because that extra day. And then they do close on Fridays and only work 8-hour days. So that's the closest to,
So they're getting days. then.
So, okay,
no, because they're working, they don't have those
So what it
extra
is, is
5.
not having to work Fridays.
right, okay, yeah, that's what I'm starting to wonder. So, okay, let me go back then and ask this, maybe, because I understand, I think better. So in A, you would be working how many days? Physically working?
Physically working 220. So you
220
would be
and getting
giving us
paid.
6
But you're getting-
days for Fridays.
So you got 226, you're getting paid for 226. Okay, now
I'm
give us
working
B.
220. B, the way it is right here on here is you're getting 226, but that's working 10-hour days. A was.
So
8-hour
on B,
days.
you are fulfilling your 226 days
Yes,
Uh,
and that's
and work. hours.
working 10-hour days and
Okay.
4
10 hour
days.
and- yeah.
It's actually 4 days vacation, but I tied it to July 4th because
Yeah,
of.
but you're confusing what's when you
Yeah.
start saying vacant. I mean, if it's, we're paying
There's
for
four-
226
There's
days.
4 extra
I want-
days in that calendar. So
Right.
it makes it 226, but we're getting 4 days off.
Okay,
So if they choose not to tie it to the 4th, they're just gonna get 4 days.
Yeah.
Whatever week they choose.
Yeah.
They'll get the 4th and 4 days.
okay.
Yeah.
So what's C option?
Now, that one is if y'all still wanted everybody to have 2 weeks vacation, then you would have to give them 6 vacation days. So there's already 4 already built in the calendar, then you would grant 6 and they'll have 2 weeks off.
So tell me how many days that y'all would actually be working there?
Physically,
Yes,
221.
okay, and get paid for 226.
No, with that second week off, it would be 216.
Okay, so then that's option C.
Option 2. Can have all the Fridays off. And 8 vacation days. So you're physically working 212. Yeah, we got that. 8. So on the 4 holidays, well, the other calendar, sometimes of those around July 4th. Well, the reason why I did that is it made a perfect calendar. You know, it made us usually we all try to shut down for that week. And 2 years ago, I talked again about that earlier today, we were all shut down at that time. But you know, like we talked about, sometimes it's hard, you got vacations planned at other times, so we just put it in the bank and whenever you use it, we use it. We got vacation days and the HR.
What's all that employee?
They work 10 days before teachers, attendant teachers and 10 days after.
So,
You gotta
Well, so say somebody wanted to take, say somebody wanted to take a 2-week vacation, would that be possible? Those 5 employees that are left, 7 to 5 employees, if they wanted to take 2 weeks, would that be allowed?
Pay part of it.
They wouldn't.
Depends on what calendar you pick.
Well, that's
And
what
then
I,
if they, like with me, I've got me repeating, a lot of these people have lots of personal days. So yeah, we could use our personal days too. Depending on if we needed to with the calendar.
but usually you don't do that
Right.
for vacation. I mean, unless, they usually
This-
don't allow
this
you
is
to
a-
have
like
more
I
than
said,
1 or
This is a
2.
unique year because there's always been 236 days. So we didn't have to worry about it. We just, for 2 weeks, we found somewhere in the summer to take off. The way the calendar was adopted, it doesn't allow for that.
Okay,
We were not like, it wasn't in policy where you get 2 weeks vacation in the summer. You just got it because the way the calendar fell and there was 10 days where we could take off.
well, let me ask this then, Denise. So if we adopted B1, which is the 226, 10 hours, a day, next year is the calendar going to flip back to where there is 236? Or,
It could vary within days.
so really, I mean, really, that part should be out of our, I mean, we can't control that part. We're
Right,
looking at,
right. But yeah, it's probably going to be a couple days different. Yeah.
right, yeah, it's going to just.
So you're just adopting this for this upcoming year.
Yeah. I've got to send to TRS 226 days.
What do we do here?
You gotta work the days you're getting paid for.
That's kind of what I
10
think.
hour, 10 hour. I mean, I don't get a choice. I have to work the days I get paid for.
what hours do y'all work then?
I work 7 to 6.
7
I
to
get it,
6.
but I take an hour for lunch. I can work 7:30 to 6 or,
Okay.
yeah, to 6 and take
Yeah.
30 minutes. But for years, for 20 plus years, it was 7 in the morning till 6 in the afternoon. They used to let us go home early on Thursday and not stay till 6, but they took that away. Because we got a true HR person and you've got exempt employees, non-exempt, you got to follow the law.
Let me add one more thing. It sounds like majority say we need to work 40 hours a week. Is that what I'm hearing?
Just need to work what you get paid for.
Yeah, work what you, yeah, that's, but however you get it in there.
So we do give our custodians, they get a 2-week paid vacation. So they work 236, they get paid 246. So to give, like I heard Sandy saying, I want them to have 2 weeks vacation because that's what they always had. Then you could give us, we could do the 226-day calendar, work our 40 hours a week, and y'all could give us 6 vacation days, and then we would be able to take 2 weeks off.
Well, hold on just a second. I'm confused. I thought the custodians
One's
were part
already
of
got
this.
4 days.
They're not part of this. I'm just letting you know, they do get a 2-week paid vacation.
Okay, but we're not
They're not
worried
part
about
of
them right now. I
Well,
mean,
but I'm just saying, Sandy said, I want them to have what they've had. So in order for us to have
But
a
what have
2-week
y'all, okay, what have
vacation,
y'all had in the past?
we didn't have to worry about it
Because
because
the
the
calendar
days
days
were
are
in the
on, okay.
calendar.
It was
So
in the extra days. Okay, I got you.
give 2 weeks vacation, you adopt calendar B and you grant 6 vacation days. That would give us 10 days to choose at their leisure.
Might be too.
I think it's.
You school people tell me.
Yeah.
what y'all- I mean, I kind of feel like you should be working the days you get paid, but I mean,
You gotta be fair with people.
Yeah, you're right. The second option for B.
but I don't know on this.
Okay, what y'all want to do? We take this and run along.
It's complicated, but I've got to get it set up. I've got to get payroll rolling.
What do y'all want?
B1.
B2, B2,
So we're gonna give them 6 days.
yes.
We're still gonna give 6 days.
And they would get their full 10, so they would get 2 weeks off with that calendar.
This affects you.
Yes, it affects me.
So you can vote on it.
Well, it's a school calendar, so you can vote on it. There's no money tied to it.
Money's the same. Right?
You
Money's,
can vote on the calendar.
It's just a day.
I'm just saying though,
It's
but the money is still the same. Because that doesn't change.
I'm just kinda
Just the number of days
Correct.
to get to that. Okay,
I'll go with whatever y'all say. I mean, I hear you.
I hear a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the calendar to be
B2.
B2.
I second it.
Okay, motion made by Joe and seconded by Sandy to go with calendar B2. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? 7-4, none opposed. Okay, folks. Now, consider impossible action to approve a $5,000 stipend fix dyslexia for the dyslexia ESL coordinator. Gents, I know I told you that I was for this, and I am, because for one, I didn't want to lose our dyslexia ESL coordinator. Not at this late in
This
time,
year?
no.
It's not what, we didn't give a $5,000 stipend last year for it?
Nope.
No.
So I think that that's deserving.
Because she did have to go to the training this summer.
Just went when we got back from Nashville. She's working with both campuses with all of our kids. And I think it's a deserved stipend. It's above and beyond, what a regular teacher is doing. She's doing all the work for the district for both of those sub pops.
Okay.
How did we come up with it being 5,000?
Because I think that's
2,000 or
the
2,500?
school that was fixing to steal her, I think that's what they was gonna give.
Okay.
That's exactly what it was. It's Miss Vance that they said they'd give her $5,000 stipend. I said, I'd take it to you guys and see if we could do the same.
I figured it was 2,500 for each one for dyslexia and one for ESL coordinator. But,
Well.
yeah, whatever.
both of them.
Yeah,
So she's working extra days in the summer where teachers are not. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying? She's already on staff working.
Got back from,
She said she had to go to training,
It's not extra
Yeah.
days. It's just a,
training.
Okay,
it's
I'll make-
PD.
yeah. Well, I'll make that motion to award that to her.
I second it.
Motion made by Terry, seconded by Sandy to award $5,000 stipend for dyslexia ESL coordinator. Any further discussion?
Is this just for her? Or is this gonna be for all future?
It's a
Is it like
stipend. Y'all
positions?
did it for the stipend, so it would be, if she quit, somebody else came, they would be entitled to that unless y'all change it.
I just want to make sure that's why I understood it.
Okay, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 4, none opposed. We keep her. Okay, considering possible action to approve a $2,500 stipend for the special ed director.
I don't think that's the right wording on that.
Yeah, we were gonna.
The
change that.
director?
Yeah, it should be coordinator.
It's coordinator
Coordinator.
or what?
Coordinator, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that is the new person we hired for the high school. I mean, I know it's the position, but yeah. And she, okay.
And she'll be.
She'll oversee sped for the district, or for both of our schools right now. Because we are in transition where we don't have qualified sped teachers and we're in an audit year.
So if she has to sit in ARD meetings for, I guess, other times, then her class would be covered by an aide.
No, we have a special ed teacher at the certified sped teacher at the high school that can cover that.
Okay, so but in that classroom, we just have one teacher and, or is she the special ed teacher also?
Yes, ma'am.
Who's our other sped certified teacher? I'm sorry.
Dustin Bates.
Oh, okay.
So I guess I don't understand. So so they have a salary as a teacher and then we're paying them a stipend.
She's gonna have to help in elementary.
So, and this is to cover elementary.
Yes.
To cover some, yeah,
Okay.
she wouldn't normally have to do that.
Okay.
Okay,
I make a motion to approve a $2,500 stipend for the special ed coordinator.
a second.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Sandy, seconded by Marvin to award $2,500 stipend for the special ed coordinator. Any further discussion?
I guess my concern here as we're going along is the way we get around salaries is we just do stipends. I mean, that just seems like what we're doing. That doesn't seem fair. That's just me.
Well, I think it's getting.
We're trying to compete with other
the
schools.
ones that are going above and beyond what.
I mean, I guess where I'm coming from, rather than saying, okay, we're gonna hire them for 35 and give them an $8,000 stipend, why wouldn't you hire them for 43? I know it doesn't match up with their scale, but that's what you're doing to get to bypass the scale. That's just what I'm seeing, and I've seen it over the last 3 months a lot.
Well, there have been stipends all along, because I've asked about them before.
Well, I know,
You know, the coaches got stipends.
But we're creating
and
more and
different
more.
ones,
So why
yeah.
are we doing stipends? Why don't we do the
Jeff, because we have to have stipends, because TEA has a salary scale for all your teachers. We have to abide by that. So we pay above base. So I have to set up all these scales and payroll. And if they're above getting, like you said, some of them get salaries. If they're getting more than that, I have to turn it into a stipend.
Somebody would be less confusing if you just said.
There's nothing.
Rather than 36.
I'm not gonna.
Six, four. So the cost of action about the same price for mileage. This is something we do.
This one is just that y'all adopt the state rate, that way we don't have to bring it back to you, changes, we just automatically changing the state rate, so we don't have to bring it back.
What you want, Jack?
I make a motion to adopt the state rate for mileage.
Make the same, seconded by Brian to, adopt the state rate for mileage. Is there any further discussion? That makes sense to me. I don't know why we didn't do it before. All those in favor? 7-4, none opposed. Thank you. The next item, we're gonna move to executive session. Move on to the other, consider possible action to approve employee handbook changes or updates.
We're gonna skip that one and go to this employee handbook thing.
Yes. It's gonna be moved down to executive session.
I have one correction, just the schedule of pay dates. I think the school year is called to update the school year to 22-23. It says 20.
I did catch some dates and Donna fixed those
Okay.
this morning, so y'all will get a revised.
Okay. That's the only one I found.
Okay. Employee handbook changes and updates.
Okay, yeah, I've got some, I think. Okay. A rule now on tattoos that they have to be covered as they're working for the school district. Then, because this is proposing to say that it doesn't have to be covered.
But approved,
That's Mr. Moore.
right?
Y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Both principals came to me, I don't know, week, 2-3 weeks ago, and said they haven't interviewed anyone in years, basically, that doesn't have tattoos that are showing. So as long as they're not offensive or inappropriate for a school setting, yes, the proposal is that they can show them.
And is it worded that way, that as long as it's appropriate for a school setting?
It'll be to the discretion of the campus principal is what it will say.
Okay, I don't like that.
You don't?
No, I'm afraid if we open the door on that, there's going to be a lot of arguing about it then. Why is that one appropriate? One is mine not? And if we, especially the discretion of the student principal, that's subjective then.
It could say either you can allow or, excuse me, can allow or not. I haven't seen anybody with, just blatantly disrespectful tattoos showing.
I just saw somebody saying, I love you, and I know yours aren't offensive, and I hate that. But when I read that, I definitely said, I'm not gonna vote for that, because I just don't think, my daughter has a tattoo, but it's on her foot and she has to keep it covered up when she's at work. And I just think, and I've worked in other school districts, and I just don't think they're appropriate for school setting in the classroom. And I think it sends a message to the kids to want to do that. And I don't think that's I just don't like that. I just disagree with it, I guess. So I'd like to see them stay covered.
Anybody else?
I agree with Sandy.
Anybody else?
I agree with Sandy too. I think it's opening up a can of worms. Then you've got somebody saying, well, this one's okay or this one's not. I just think you're better off to stick with the way it's been and keep them covered up. That's me. I'm getting old, so.
I think it's probably hard to find people that don't have them.
It is.
With the exception of me, I haven't gotten one yet.
Me neither.
The dye would kill me, but I don't know, they're not covered at our school any longer. Employees, I'm seeing tattoos everywhere, so it's just a different time that we're in, so
If your major corporations are still making people wear long sleeve shirts, I mean, Sherwin-Williams does, if you got, and they make, we can't anybody wear earrings, male or female.
That's where I was going. What about
Wow.
it? What about earrings, nose rings, all that earrings?
I think we have, they can't wear,
Long sleeve
the
shirt.
males can't wear facial piercings. Doesn't our handbook say that, or am I imagining that?
Don't get off that.
What do other school
Well-
districts, Jance, are you basing this on what other school districts around us are doing? Are they all letting up on that?
I haven't talked to any around us. Just what the principals came to me and asked. The last school district I was at that required coverings of tattoos. It's been a while. And like you said, it's hard to find people without them. To me, as long as it's not disruptive to the learning environment, I'm okay with it. That's just my opinion.
I just think little Junior's gonna come home and he's gonna say, well, Mr. So-and-so's got tattoos, I ought to be able to have a tattoo, and then Daddy and him's gonna get into it. That's the way it would work in my house.
See, that'd be between you and your.
Right.
I got a question, Terry. Is there any way we could check and see what everybody else kind of around us is doing and then table it and bring it back? I mean, would that be, or is that gonna screw us up to?
The handbook's gotta go
My
out.
opinion, let's just make a decision. Either we're all in or we're all out. That way there's,
Oh,
you
I'm-
can either
I'm
show
out
them or
on
you
it.
can't.
If we gotta make a decision right now, I'm out on it, but that's me.
We don't have to. I'm just saying,
Is anything?
it's not gonna be a big deal. I don't think, I mean, Jacob has tattoos. He's sitting right there. And he
No, no, no.
covers his up every day.
My dad's got him. He was in the
And I know
Navy.
they-
I know he hates them now. He's got them all over. I mean, you wouldn't know because he's, if you know my dad, but I'm like Brian. I don't think it, I mean,
3 of my
Thank you.
four kids have got tattoos.
I don't have a problem. I would,
Problem.
it's just part of the due times. I would like to be able to hire people. Some of them are gonna be hard to hide. What if they're on their hands?
That's their fault.
What?
Hell,
hey, make good choices. I don't know.
I didn't go
I
get the
just
tattoo.
I
see
didn't
us
either.
having people with those sleeves all the way down,
I mean, I hate-
especially on a woman that looks so
Yeah, and I
awful.
don't want Jacob or anybody to come and get, because I'm not, I just,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote no.
It doesn't change who they are.
Those go.
I'm more inclined to think about their moral.
I don't think we're gonna.
Okay. All right, here. I'm
You're opening up.
I make a motion that we accept this, that we don't worry about the tattoos. That'd be up to the principals as approved by the handbook. So I'll make the motion. Does anybody second that?
Second it. I do have a question. So the principals, you're not concerned about, as assistant principal, you're not concerned about telling one person, no, that's got to be covered versus one person that.
No, I think when you're in charge of discretion, because we have things for, print on t-shirts. I mean, it's the discretion, lewd, vulgar, we would use the same criteria we would for anything else. Lewd, vulgar, any of those, if it's substances, anything like that, we use the same discretion. I think it's the same as an offensive t-shirt. If it's offensive, we don't display it, but if it's not, I mean, as y'all are
It's a
discussing,
good
y'all are
point.
making the same points.
Mhm.
It's just, it's not 1985 anymore.
Right.
I need you to say that it's option B.
Option B.
Is that what you're
Okay,
choosing?
I'll make it to that. It's option B.
I second it.
Okay, I made the motion, Barbara seconded. Motion on the table that option B is the selection. All those in favor? 4, all opposed? Got Brian, Sandy, and Marvin. Okay, thank y'all.
And you told us that new law. Yeah, we can,
What?
that new law, last time you told us it's, we can disagree.
Okay, superintendent report.
It always existed.
This is you, Jen.
Joe mentioned my first little part, the pump station at the high schools were installed. Bullet 2 there, high school doors are complete, and I have in parentheses the keys there. Some are working, mine works so much better than they have in the past. But we had some teachers come in today and say the keys, they're not working at all. So we're gonna get new sets of keys. That way everybody's good to go. Defender program training. There are multiple employees in the middle of that right now. I believe we were down to 3 or 4. But with the new ones that Mr. Henderson has enrolled, we should be at 9, waiting on one more to make it to 10, which is what we were before the resignations of our past employees. Football field lights are not up yet, as you guys have seen, but I talked to Jacob Fulbright pretty much every day now. His construction manager, project manager was out here Friday measuring, asking, do we want to remove the wooden poles? Do we want to keep the wooden poles? I said, yes, we need to get rid of them because of the age on them. What we would like to do with the remainder of the lights. He was asking the spacing on the lights, kind of giving me updates. This is where this one will be, this one will be, this one will be. So those should be up. I told him we have, Jacob, how many days is it till 2 days right now?
Don't give me a line, less than a month.
23, 22, something like that. They'll be up. New hires there are a lot. If you follow the Savoy Facebook, you'll see the welcome posts or welcome to Savoy that Miss Petrie suggested. It was a very, very good idea. So we're kind of putting a face with a name and a background of these people, where they've been, their families, and a quote, why they're excited to be in Savoy. So I asked that you guys will look at that. And then coming up soon, I've got First Year Soup Academy in Round Rock, where it's a crash course into what they did not teach us in superintendent school, you know, how to navigate board meetings, how to build budgets, and everything in between. So that will be for 3 days, the last week of July.
All right.
Chance, I've got one quick question for you.
Okay.
You said we got 10 people enrolled in the Defender program.
Yes, sir.
How much experience at Savoy School? How long have they all been there? Have they all been here at least 1 or 2 years?
No, sir. The ones involved today or the past few days have, well, they're all brand new. Now, I can't go into too much detail because I don't want to give away, you know, we can't give away who they are. But they are vouched for by myself and Mr. Henderson.
People on campuses. Implemented, I thought it had to be here. It used to be 2 years, but we may back it off to 1.
Then change to at the discretion after talking with the superintendent and the principal's budget. And they said yes, so that.
Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
Half.
Here, I don't remember.
It was changed. Yeah.
I don't remember that. No, I don't, I'm almost 100%. We never did 0. We did drop it to 1, but we wanted to at least be here
I didn't
1
even know there
year,
was any.
so we'd know something about them and their demeanor.
I'll research the minutes, but it's in the handbook. Or it's in the Defender program policy. Yeah, it's in the Defender program policy.
I'm pretty sure it's 1 year. That's my only concern.
Good job, or whoever did on the Facebook. And that these, the new people, it looks real good. And
By the way, Tracy said to let y'all know that I did talk to her about getting the ISD's, our website up to date. And she is working on that today, and she did add all those nice pictures on our front page. So
I did
be
see that.
patient, she's cleaning it up.
Good.
yeah, because yeah.
All right, we'll close the superintendent's report. The next thing is executive session. I'm gonna make a motion. We go into executive session at 8:08. It's government code 551-074 for personnel and deliberate appointments and employment evaluations and stuff. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Joe. Thank you. All those in favor? Seven. Go. Yes, okay.
I make a recommendation that Jance may want to come in here for this rather than us having
Yeah,
a
needs to-
caller so he could get.
Okay, it is 9:01. I make a motion that we come back into come back out of executive session.
Motion to accept Kevin Dillon's letter of resignation effective July 1st, 2022.
Accept Stu's resignation as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Sandy. All for, none opposed. Any further business? All those in favor?
Motion to accept the resignation of Scott Pitchford as presented.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Barbara. All those in favor? All for, none opposed. Make a motion that Mary Catherine Williams, who is hired as the high school secretary, be PEMS coordinator, and Denise Pugh will be designated as PEMS director and keep her stipend.
Second.
Seconded by Sandy. All those in favor? All for, none opposed.
You got one abstaining.
I abstain.
No,
on
you
that.
abstained
I
on
figured
that. I'm
I'd
sorry,
do
6-4-1, Brian abstained. Okay,
Make a motion to offer Stephanie Reed a probationary dual credit contract.
Still contract.
Huh?
you get probation in?
I thought that's what it said.
Yeah, it says.
Yeah.
A probationary dual contract for the 22-23 school year.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Marvin. All those in favor? All for, none opposed. All right, folks, that's it.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Yeah,
9:04. Is that right?
and Joe.
Yep.
9:04.
9:04. All those in favor? 7-4, none opposed.